Okay, we are set for 3x3 light heavyweight contest. The white sniper Chris Johnson with Australia's first ever kickboxing world champion Alex Toohey in his corner, and Lucy Toohey, no relation, against Smokin' Joe White with the Professor Philip Lamb in the corner. Tail of the tape, Joe White and Chris Johnson, 25 years each. A massive height advantage here going the way of Joe White. Both men spot on the money at 80 kilos, and a slight knockout advantage going the way of Smokin' Joe. Third man in centering, the Rebel, John Conway, and Chris Johnson coming off a first-round KO win of the Supreme Fighting Machine, Gurkhan Ozkhan, in Melbourne only a month and a half ago. He cut Ozkhan open in the first round with a shin kick to the head, but it'll be a hell of a task to get that shin kick up to the head of Smokin' Joe White here as we kick off the first round, brought to you by Woodstock Bourbon and Cola.
There we see Joe White opening up instantly with that. There we see the Thai style. Joe White really powering up on the kicks early on.
Well, both men open up like a house on fire here in the opening round. Outside thigh kick there from the white sniper. Will we see his jumping somersault kick, which has become his trademark? Short tagging left hand to the jaw there from the sniper.
What I'm impressed about is both these boys look in incredibly good condition. They are both just ripped.
High knee from Smokin' Joe. Front kick off the ropes there from Joe White. And Johnson has found himself up against a rampaging Joe White here in the opening stanza. Goes for the big outside thigh kick as a sniper. Overhand right from Johnson and a nice Thai-style takedown. Smack bang centre of the ring.
Box.
Step up right hand. Rib kick didn't come off for the white sniper. As I said, formerly of New Zealand, now based out of Sydney, Australia. Beautiful shot to the sternum there. And an outside thigh kick from the sniper.
Well,
more combinations than are safe so far here in the first round.
I think Joe White would have felt what he had for breakfast, but that was a very, very strongly struck right hand there. Of course, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to catch and kick in the same movement under K1 rules, and it's a Thai-style technique that Joe White is very familiar with.
Step up jab from the sniper. White edging forward. Left hook from the sniper, didn't find the mark. Short knee to the rib cage there from Joe White, now trying to pull the head down. Takes an uppercut to the sternum, catch and sweep, beautifully done, and that'll be a scoring technique.
One strike only.
For Smokin' Joe White.
One strike only. Time.
So he didn't connect with the second strike, so nothing to really worry about there for Smokin' Joe White. Nice round kick to the midsection there from Smokin' Joe White. Short right hand, rib kick from White, forces Johnson back against the ropes, turning right hook and another rib kick. Good combination work here now from Smokin' Joe.
This is a great fight from both these fighters. As I say, Chris Johnson trying to get inside and using the punches and the body shots to good effect.
Ooh, big inside thigh kick, just sweeping out the support leg of Chris Johnson, and Joe White got more kick than a chorus line here in the opening round.
Nice little short left hook there from Chris Johnson, but he seemed to feel that leg kick, that right leg kick there. Oh, that's a head kick rattling him around the ears.
Don't worry, Chris Johnson's tougher than that, and here comes the white sniper. Body shot from the sniper, outside thigh kick. And Joe White just upended him.
And there we have Chris and Tanya Tupper, of course, our former basketball representatives. Husband and wife, both very, very good in the hooped games.
Our galaxy of stars on hand here tonight. Into the final 10 seconds of this fight. Everyone enjoying the K1 action from the Trust Stadium in Waitakere. Jumping knee there. Getting airborne, Smokin' Joe White. Front kick to the midsection off the lead leg from Johnson. Into the first round, we go to the towels.
Well, Chris Johnson looking a little bit worse for wear at the end of that round. I thought it was fairly evenly matched, but Joe White finishing very strongly, Mike.
Hey, what is that? Good? Yeah. Listen. Take your time.
Instructions in the corner of Philip Lamb, the Professor of Pain, for his young charge, Joe White. And let's have a look at the action as it went down in the opening round. I liked White for mine.
And there we saw that a few times from Joe White, the catch and kick and the tie tick, just pushing him down. He got a warning for that, but not a lot in it, really.
Good outside thigh kick there from White. Chris Johnson almost leaning into a high knee under the chin. And if he takes one of those, it'll be good night, Irene, for sure. Nice gymnastic roll out there, combat style from Chris Johnson. But for my liking, unofficially, of course, I've got to give the first round a 10-9er to the man they call Smokin' Joe. The Rebel John Conway about to get us underway. Second round of 3. Brought to you by Woodstock Bourbon and Cola, all part of the K1 Battle of the Anzacs 2. Tixon McIver's super promotion from the Trust Stadium in Waitakere. Here we go. Johnson's got some ground to cover now.
Well, certainly Chris Johnson through the middle part of that round looks like he might have had his measure, but Joe White just adapting to the K1 game very well. That's a slip rather than a knockdown. It won't be called.
No knockdown, really a throwdown there from White. Caught the kicking leg of Johnson. Oh, nice dummy and hook there from Johnson. Beautifully done, Alex Tui style.
Back for Sarah allowed. Chris Johnson could have actually thrown that. Joe White forcing him into the corner with a front kick and a leaping knee.
He almost pushed his pecs into his back with that front kick to the sternum. Nicely done from White. Fires off another one off the rear leg. Oh, straight right hand to the kisser. Good work there from Johnson, looking for the big tub thumper. Again, straight up the centre corridor. Could be a sweet spot on Joe White. Round kick, just tuck in under the left armpit. White goes high, and a high knee stunned him. Johnson backed against the blue corner in front of our commentary position now.
This is just the fight you want to see, a real Donnybrook brawl. Both these guys with granite chins. I don't expect to see either of them stopped, and neither of them taking a backward step.
High knee again from Joe White. Chris Johnson taking more strikes than a box of matches. And Joe White doing a number on him. Another step-up knee. High left round kick from White. Johnson backed off. He's trying to get out of there. Turns him around with a body shot. A glancing right hand. Straight right hand just whistles past the ear of Johnson. Uppercut from the White sniper, and now he's turning it on. Inside thigh kick from Smoking Joe Mike.
Classic works, just Smoking Joe really using those knees to good effect. Chris Johnson's hands starting to drop. He is really starting to tire and feel the pain of Joe White.
Four-punch combination, outside thigh kick, high right round kick. Here comes Smoking Joe. He's got more kick than a drowning horse. High right round kick again from Smoking Joe.
Well, Joe White, he really has come on in leaps and bounds. That Super League experience really serving him well. Looping overhand right there from Chris Johnson. He needs to go to work and needs to go to work fast, but he just doesn't look like he has his range or his distance.
Oh, the rolling somersault! Take that, you Romanian gymnastics.
Well,
that's going to be a perfect 10, Mikey, except if he would have connected, would have been even better.
Well, he was nowhere near connected. It's a wasted technique, and all it's going to do is get him tired at this stage. He really has to set that up a lot better if he's going to go for it.
I like it for the entertainment factor, and the fact that he's ripping it out here on round number 2, well, Nadia Comaneci, eat your heart out. Turning back kick there from Joe White. Straight right hand from the sniper.
But of anything you can do, I can do better there from Joe White with a spinning hook kick.
I'd like to see Joe White try a somersault kick, Mikey.
Chris Johnson, he is a tough boy, originally from the Manawatu, just almost dipping into the lead left knee there from Joe White.
Outside thigh kick from Johnson. Joe White dips down, and Johnson might have taken an accidental headbutt. The Rebel John Conway letting it go on. Is Johnson dazed here in centre ring? Joe White unloading on him. Succession of round kicks. Chops out the lead leg. Chops out the lead leg. Into the round. What a cracker. And Chris Johnson went down like an elevator. Alex Tui, meanwhile, across the ring, telling Chris Johnson, you've got to move around, son, and pick him off. Here's how it went down in the second stanza.
Chris Johnson really hurt by that rib kick, follow-up low kick, sending him tumbling to the canvas just on the bell, ringing the end of the round. Has to do a lot of work, Mike, to catch up as Alex Tui does some psych work in the corner.